Welcome to The Last Resort, latest episode of Last Resort with Chris and Joe. I'm Chris.
I'm Joe.
That's Joe. Today, we don't have any guests, Joe.
No, we don't have a guest.
No, not at all. Mainly because we suck at scheduling people.
Yeah,
horribly.
We've called like maybe 5 people in the last 24 hours.
And they're like, I'd love to be on the show. And we're like, that's great. And like, when? And we're like, now. And like, oh, I can't do it.
It's like, hey, yeah, could I have some advance notice on this?
More notice would be better. Please.
I always thought that everybody would just, drop what they were doing and come help us.
Why are you so far away from your mic, Joe?
Because it's fine.
Get a little closer. At least move it closer. Jesus Christ.
That's problematic.
Like you are like 6 feet away from your mic.
Now it's in front of me.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's what people are going to have to understand when they watch the videos, that this is what that is us in front of mics.
Yeah, but in the second episode, you are a mic.
Yes, I know. But the difference is now is it doesn't matter. Anyway, get closer to the mic. That's the whole point. Hurry up.
Let's try that.
Shows are burning.
Yeah, that's 2 minutes. Yeah,
we'll have to do something about that. Cut that out. All right, so yeah, we're not good at inviting people.
Fix that all in post.
Yep, we're not good at making sure that people are here to be a guest. So we have no one but us.
I'll just take some footage of Jordan from the second episode and post it in this episode.
Yeah, exactly. So, Joe, what have you been up to?
Oh, the things that I've been up to, my stars. I had jury duty yesterday.
Oh, how'd that go?
I was there for about less than an hour, something like that.
Really? That was it?
Yeah. So it was not too bad. I made some jokes about the promotional video that they show you.
There's a promotional video?
Have you been to jury duty?
I don't get jury duty notices. They never make it to me.
Anyways, when you're there, they show you this video acted out by actors, clearly.
Who are acting.
And they're like, oh, being a juror was one of the best experiences of my life. It was better than having my first child. Yeah.
Or my second one.
Yeah. And
or when I won $1 million.
Many jurors make friends with other jurors and remain contact with them.
No one does that.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that. Yeah. So when the movie was finished, I turned to one guy next to me and I said, "Well, I'm moved." And
I'm moved. Yeah, well, I moved.
And then there's credits to this. There's
movie. Credits?
There's credits.
You should have written down every one of those fuckers' names and emailed them. Messaged them. Wrote them a letter.
And the credits go on for a good maybe 4 minutes or something like that.
Really?
Yeah. And so I again turn to the people next to me and I go, I think they're required by law to play the credits.
Yeah. Who knew that all these times that we stayed to watch the credits in movies, we were actually abiding by the law?
Yeah.
There's credits?
There's credits. Yeah. And it has it was SAG. It has this really inspiring music while they're being played. It's like I don't know, something.
The whole point is it probably was SAG. So it actually does have to have
or AFTRA, who knows?
Yeah, or AFTRA, yeah, whatever it was recorded on. I'm sure it came out of the 80s/90s as well.
I was having a really hard time figuring out when it was made. It looks like it was made in the 90s, although there was a relatively thin laptop in there, so could be a little later.
Intriguing.
Yeah.
Intriguing. Well, that's impressive that you got out of jury duty.
Yeah.
By going to jury duty.
Yeah.
I've done no such thing because I don't get notices for jury duty.
It's because you killed a man.
Well, okay, and yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so have you ever heard of Reddit, Joe?
I think I've read about it.
You think you've read about Reddit?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a clever man. If I had the soundboard working, I would have given you a smattering of applause for that one. Yeah. So my girlfriend is kind of into Reddit.
And is that an issue because you're a dig man?
I haven't been a dig man for quite a while because dick blows now. But even when I was, I didn't give a shit. So there's that. But okay, so here's the thing with Reddit. I don't know if you know this or not, but it seems to every time I hear about Reddit, they're like, yeah, and there's lots of porn, German shyster shit porn, dog porn, whatever porn you want. We have it on Reddit. And you'll see it.
Do they have advertisements?
They do. They're like, do you want to see a woman stick a Coke bottle up her vagina?
Tired of going straight to the source for porn?
Do you want it to randomly show up after you just saw a baby got taken by an eagle? Reddit, where porn comes when you don't want it. So I've been using Reddit a little bit more because she's on it and it was funny. Like we'd check it out. I'm like, I'll check out Reddit on my own, and no porn would show up. I would like,
you poor soul.
I was told that there was porn on Reddit. I told there was horrible porn. Not that I want to see horrible porn, but I want that shock every once in a while. Like we all want that. Like that when the like when you're driving in the rain and you hydroplane a little and you're like, oh shit, I almost died. But then the very next thing you eat tastes delicious, and you're like, this is all because I almost died. That's what I want from my porn sometimes. I want to be scared shitless to the point of going like, that's out there? Man, I feel normal.
I think there's a far greater cesspools of villainy on the internet than Reddit. If you really want to go,
no, that's the whole point. Is I don't want the really dark stuff. I just want the kind of stuff that's kind of weird. Yeah, I want the kind of weird stuff, but I don't want to dip my toes in because I don't really want it. I just want to go like, holy shit, and then back away. So
you want the clams, you don't want the caviar.
Exactly. So I asked my girlfriend, I go like, yeah, where's the porn? I keep getting promised this weird ass porn that would show up every so often, like women having, sea sponges all over their bodies, naked bodies, like weird things where I'm just like, no, I'm not sure I like that. But she's naked. And she goes, oh, well, you have to go into the subreddits. I'm like,
so you have to actively seek it out on Reddit.
Exactly.
At which point you might as well just go to an actual porn
site. Which at that point I'm like, I know what I like in porn. I'll just go porn. and she's like, no, seriously, just type this in. So I type it in and I kind of get some things. I go like, there's one thing, but it's like a paragraph about like some sexual encounter someone had, and it was only a paragraph. I'm like, can it be that good if it's only a paragraph? And I'm like, there's no pictures. Like, you even gave me where I'm supposed to go, and I found no porn. And she goes, oh, no, you didn't click on the subreddit.
Yeah.
You just clicked on the post that was in the subreddit. Click on the subreddit.
This sounds complicated.
And yeah, just to find fucking porn on Reddit. And so I click on it, and bam, shit tons of naked women in front of me. To the point where I actually get scared, Joe. I got scared.
Well, that makes sense. You're a misogynist.
I was scared of all the naked women pictures of naked women in front of me. Like, it scared me. I went click and went away.
You thought they were gonna kill you.
Yeah, and my girlfriend was all like, "Did you just close that?" I was like, "Yeah." It kind of freaked me out.
You felt like you had your hand in the cookie jar again.
Yeah,
like you were 12.
And she goes, well, there was nothing bad, right? I'm like, no, it was just good-looking naked women.
Oh, so they were actually good looking too.
Just showing themselves. And I ran away scared. It would be like if 12 models, like 10 models came up to me.
This is the ending scene of Dumb and Dumber.
It is. It totally is. They went, we need someone to put lotion on us. Well, there's a town right back there. You can go to where I'm sure someone will be more than happy to do it for you. I was handed porn. Go like, you want porn? Here's porn. And it's good porn with hot women in it. And what do? Ah! And run away. That's what I did. That's what I literally did. It's like I was 12 years old finding porn for the first time. It was horrible, and I felt ashamed of myself, so I masturbated in the bedroom. In the corner. I didn't do that. I didn't. I didn't do that. I didn't masturbate in the corner.
Yeah, that.
I didn't. Not at all. I don't masturbate in the corner anymore.
He does it straight in the middle of the room now.
Where everyone can see it. Yeah, so that's what happened with Reddit. And I've decided that for my random porn encounters, I'm going to keep this stumble upon. Because it does it the way that it promises it to me, which is I click a button and I might get porn. Which is way better. And it's tasteful porn. That's the best part is I can say like no graphic nudity, like no graphic sexual encounters. I just want like artistic nudes, every so often spattered among all the scientific stuff I see. And it's awesome. I learned about a black hole, and then I saw a black hole.
Oh man. Every week I have hopes that we will be better people. Every week. Those hopes are shattered in a horrible car accident.
It came to my head and I couldn't say no. I couldn't say no.
You could.
All right.
You didn't.
All right, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from that into movies.
Yay, movies.
Sadly, we do not have a intro to movies yet.
No.
One of these days we will.
Yeah.
Till that point, movies. So,
hey, movies.
You saw Hitchcock.
Yeah, I saw Hitchcock a couple days ago. It was a good movie. I don't know if I'd recommend seeing it in the theaters. But I mean, if it's on like Netflix or something like that, and you see it on TV, it's definitely worth checking out. It was funny. It kind of follows Hitchcock around the time he's making Psycho, and really.
Is it more of like a biopic? Is that what? Was that kind of what it is? It's like a biopic.
Kind of. I mean, like it's sort of about like the dynamic between him and his wife, and also kind of like the insecurities that Hitchcock felt. And stuff like that. And
you're telling me about this movie, and I know nothing. So this is the first time I've actually ever heard about Hitchcock.
Oh, really?
The movie. Well, I know that it came out. And you and some other people like saw it, but I was like, "There's a fucking movie called Hitchcock."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very weird.
Sir Anthony Hopkins plays Hitchcock.
Oh, that's who it is.
Yeah.
And he made those silence.
Yeah.
Trailer thingies for movies.
Yeah.
Movie theaters. All right, so you say don't go see it now, go see it later.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're a Hitchcock fan, then yeah, maybe go ahead and check it out now. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's just boring. I get it. You say it's boring.
No, it was actually pretty funny.
I love Hitchcock stuff. I don't understand what your problem is.
And like Scarlett Johansson's in it. She plays the actress who played the character that gets stabbed in Psycho.
Oh, okay.
And then
do we see your butthole? Oh, that's in the remake.
No.
In the remake, we see Anne Heche's butthole.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Kevin Smith talks about it all the time. They even made a song on Hollywood Babble on Anne Heche's butthole.
You know, going through this movie and like it talks about like kind of the casting process behind Nathan Bates, and like I don't know, like it makes me feel that more so that what's his name?
Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn wasn't quite right for Nathan Bates.
I really liked him. But, I mean, I've seen both, and I really liked Vince Vaughn as Nathan Bates. I thought he was good.
And Jessica Biel's also in it. She's the...
Wait, hold on. Jessica Biel and Scarlett Johansson?
Yeah.
So all we need is Natalie Portman, and we have my harem.
Trifecta?
Yeah.
Your harem?
Yeah.
I don't think that'll work.
No. Halle Berry's not in there, but Halle Berry's like crazy. Crazy.
Speaking of Halle Berry, Wolverine Hugh Jackman's going to be in the new.
Wait,
X-Men
how
movie.
does that?
Because Halle Berry's Storm in.
Was Storm.
Yeah, was Storm.
Was Storm.
Yeah, probably. They probably won't have her.
And wasn't Hugh Jackman in Swordfish? Was that Hugh Jackman?
No, that's Mel Gibson.
in No, Mel Gibson was in Swordfish, but there's the main character.
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen Swordfish.
Look it up while I talk about Hugh Jackman. Yeah, Hugh Jackman is coming on as Wolverine in the new X-Men movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
which is cool.
Also, Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen
are coming back to reprise their roles as Magneto and Xavier.
Yeah.
As well as the younger versions of them, and
Yeah.
I don't remember who played them. So there's that.
Those cool guys. What was the guy that played Magneto in First Class? Like he was also in something fairly recent.
I don't remember. I mean, if I saw him, I'd be like, "Oh fuck yeah, that's him!" But I don't remember.
Yeah.
So I've heard that with some people,
Hugh Jackman was in Swordfish.
Yeah, thank you. He saw Halle Berry's tits, as did I. I don't know if he saw them in person, because you don't see Hugh Jackman in that shot. But I'm sure when he watched Swordfish that he saw Halle Berry's tits.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty nice.
Michael Fassbender, yeah.
Wow. How did you not pronounce that properly?
Right. Prometheus. He was in Prometheus. I thought he was good in Prometheus.
Oh yeah, the robot.
Yeah.
Dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. Have you heard anything about it? Like what the story is? I've heard speculation.
Just there might be a time travel aspect to it.
I've heard that it might be based off of one of the best X-Men comic thingies, which is
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, or something like that.
Well, I mean that's the name of the movie.
Yeah, but I guess it's all about how there's a alternate universe where there's the Sentinels, and so there's Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, and they're fucking up Sentinels and shit, and so some people are thinking that might be what it is, what this movie is, which would be sick. Because Sentinels, come on.
Yeah.
They're awesome. All right, moving on to Star Trek, the trailer for Star Trek Into Darkness. No colon. There's no colon there. It's Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek Into Darkness.
Star Trek. Yeah, definitely Star Trek Into Darkness. No colon. No colon.
I don't know why you expected a colon there.
Because Star Trek usually has colon. Star Trek and then colon whatever.
Oh. Well, usually, I mean, if you go by usuallys, it also had numbers. Well, unless you get into the Next Generation ones.
Yeah, and then they didn't. But still had colons.
Yeah. Well, Star Trek Generations didn't.
That was a crossover. Boom. Boom. All right, so you've seen the trailer. You've seen the announcement trailer, and then the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on all these fucking trailers. How do you feel about the teaser trailer?
I'm looking forward to this.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
I mean, I
so excited.
I really, really do not want the villain to be Khan.
I don't think it is,
and I don't think it is, and so I'm happy about that. I'd say that there's a good chance that it's going to be. I think his name's Gary Mitchell, who was in the second episode of Star Trek.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
That's Sherlock. Not his real name, right?
I don't know.
It can't be. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Go on. So yeah, you think it's this guy?
I think it's most likely going to be him, and mainly because the guy who plays Bones said that it was going to be him. He could have done a fake out. Another possibility, I went through Netflix, not watched all of Star Trek, but I just went through all the descriptions to go okay, which one sounds like it has a villain in it that could be somebody. And came across this one villain in this one episode called Captain Garth. And
I can't help but do the Wayne's World thing. Garth. Shaw. All right, go on.
Anyways.
Captain Garth.
And Captain Garth in this episode, he used to be this great Federation captain, but got into this accident, was taken to this planet where they taught him to regrow his own cells or something across those lines. But he sort of went crazy in the process, ended up trying to kill everybody on that planet. And
wonder if the accident was with his family. because
what happened was in the episode he talks about because the episode takes place in a mental institution, so he's already been caught and stuff like that. So whenever this happened, it happened like way before. So it could be at the time of this when he goes crazy, and like he talks about how his crew betrays him by not wanting to slaughter this planet, and things like that. And he through this ability to like recreate his cells, he gains the ability to like shapeshift into other people.
What's really
so that's another possibility.
If the thing is, if this is what this guy is, at the very end he talks about he says, "What would you do for your family?"
Yeah.
So that might be the accident that like caused him to go crazy or whatever.
Yeah.
There is definitely a planet that they go to. Some planet, we don't know which one. We just know they go. Yeah. They definitely go to a planet. There's some stuff that obviously happens on Earth as well. More than that is, this obviously is going to be testing Kirk.
That is his real name.
Really? His real name
Benedict Timothy Carlton Cumberbatch.
Wow.
Cumberbatch.
Wow. Well, I guess with a last name like that. Okay, so what I was saying is that because in the beginning of the teaser trailer, I believe it is the person that plays Captain Pike.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Admiral Pike now, right?
I don't know.
It sounds like him, and he says, how he says about how he can do great things and he's going to be great, but he has no humility. Yeah, there you go. Humidity. And so I wonder if this is when we're going to start seeing that seep into Kirk's character in this timeline of where he starts becoming more humble in that way because of this other character, which would make sense. Because if the original story is that this guy was really great and there's an accident and then he goes to this planet and kind of goes crazy and never finds out how to be humble in any way.
Yeah.
Then it would make sense that this would be a learning experience for Kirk.
And it could be a learning experience either way if it's Captain Garth or if it's Gary Mitchell, because Gary Mitchell was like a good friend of Captain Kirk, and I think that he was his second officer in the Spock wasn't. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that episode, but basically he gets these like superpowers. Godlike powers and starts thinking himself as a god, and
it could be,
and so like the episode ends with Kirk having to kill him.
And then that might be it as well.
Yeah.
No way to know.
Yeah.
Not yet. God, I want to see that movie.
I know.
So bad. All right, we're going to move on to comics.
Moving on to comics.
I don't know. We don't have anything for comics either yet. We'll get it eventually. So comics. Mainly what we're going to talk about is because I guess with issue 700, spoiler, if you have not seen or read the issue of Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man 700, stop listening. Well, continue to listen, but just like fast forward 5 minutes.
Or if you don't care.
Whatever. Listen. So Joe, what happens in issue 700? Quickly.
Peter Parker has been he's dead.
Kind of though, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's there's a huge gray area here. So basically, what happens is
here's my question. Okay, well, can I just recap what you recapped for me? Now, you did not read the issue?
I did read the issue.
Oh, you did read it. Oh, you pirated it.
I didn't pirate it. I just
found it. You found it.
It was just lying there.
It was lying on the tubes that is the internet.
Yeah.
Well, because, it is a series of tubes, not a dump truck.
Yeah.
All right. So, wow. So you actually did read it. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm going to recap what you told me.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Parker is fighting Doc Ock. Doc Ock's dying of leprosy. And
or something.
Of something.
He looks like a giant thing of beef jerky with 4 metallic arms hanging off of him.
Fantastic. And he's dying. He swaps consciousness with Peter Parker, a la some brain tube, and then Peter Parker does, as Doc Ock, does his best to get back to Peter Parker, and then he realizes that he can shove memories into him, into Doc Ock, who's in his brain. So in the last seconds before Peter Parker is going to die in Spider-Man, in Doc Ock, he, with this tiny little link, he shoves his entire consciousness into Doc Ock, who's in his brain. Kind of.
So basically, the main difference is that
memories. My bad. Memories, not consciousness.
That being in the other person's body, they have access to all their memories already. So like Doc Ock kind of knew this stuff already, but like in his last few moments, Peter Parker has his life like flashing through his eyes again, and he establishes another small link between the two of them. And so while he's flashing through his life, he's like taking Doc Ock through through everything, like the death of Uncle Ben and like trying to save people and stuff like that. And that ultimately leads Doc Ock to go like, "Oh my God, I've been such a horrible person.
I'm gonna be good now.
I'm gonna be good." And like Peter asks him, "Hey, can you if you're gonna go on in my body, could you carry on Spider-Man?"
What would he do otherwise?
I don't know, become a villain Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but maybe. Okay, so Doc Ock's going to be good.
Yeah, he says that after Peter dies, he says, I will carry on the name. I will be the superior Spider-Man.
What?
And so there's going to be a superior Spider-Man comic.
What does Mary Jane know this?
I don't. No, not yet.
How many times is she going to have sex with who she thinks is Peter Parker? When
he already tried getting with her,
and it didn't work.
It would have worked if it weren't for those meddling kids.
All right, I just saying it's weird.
Yeah,
very weird.
Yeah, I mean he was definitely trying to get with her, and like just because of time, I think that they were interrupted by the fact that Dr. Octopus had escaped.
Who's Peter Parker?
Who's Peter Parker?
Here's the thing: is now Spider-Man, who is Peter Parker, is from now on actually Doc Ock.
Yeah, although I mean, since it's still Peter Parker's brain, still his memories and stuff like that, if they wanted to, they could very easily go like, well, Dr. Octopus's consciousness faded away and Peter's came back.
God.
I mean, I there's ways out of this.
I don't care. It's retarded.
Yeah.
Well,
either way.
Yeah. No, that's latest in.
It seems
in
like
comics.
The main reason they did this was because it was the 700th.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
That's exactly why they did it. No, that's exactly why they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's retarded.
I mean, like, I don't care too much. Although reading people's responses, they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they did this."
Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. All right, we're moving on.
Moving on.
Joe names a segment.
What?
We're doing Joe names a segment.
What are we naming?
I don't know. Comics. What are we going to name the comics? This is going to be really short. Come up with something to name the comics for.
Comics. We kind of know about them.
Comics. We kind of know about them. I'm gonna say that it should just be called comics.
That's cheating.
I win. I win. Praise the Lord. Anyway, so we're gonna move on. I had it written down, so I had to do it. That's just the way it rolls. We're gonna move on to a segment with called Fighting Words. Yeah. You can cut that out.
Will.
Yeah. All right, so Fighting Words. I'm going to go first. Mine's going to be about gun control. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of sick and tired of hearing this argument, which is the moment you bring up gun control, it suddenly means that I want to take away your guns, and it doesn't. When anyone says gun control, they're not trying to take away your guns. All they're saying is maybe we should talk about, I don't know, talking about this, figuring out some better ways of doing things. Maybe, just maybe. I don't know about you, Joe. Do you need an automatic weapon?
I need one right now.
Oh, you can't have an automatic weapon, but it's just a question of like, with everything that's happened, maybe we should talk about gun control, just a little bit. And I keep getting this brought up. I see this all the time. They go like, they're like, well, it is regulated, and I go like, hold on, I'm going to start that over. That was horrible. They keep talking about like how they go like, well, cars kill people. Like, we don't ban cars. You don't see regulations on cars. No, you do. There's a fucking shit ton of regulations on cars.
Need a license.
Not only do you need a license, you have to be you have to be insured. You have to be healthy. You can't if you're not in great enough health to operate a motor vehicle, they do not allow you to do it. Not that you can't do it, just you're not allowed to. If your eyesight is not proper, you can't. In fact, if you are considered legally blind, I don't believe you can drive. I might be wrong on that, but I believe that there are some people.
Maybe the Google car.
Yeah, but the whole point is that there are massive regulations on cars.
Yeah.
And so when people go like, well, we don't stop that, I go like, well, we do. Yeah. We do. In fact, you can't buy a car off of the only time you can buy a car and not have insurance on that car is through a private sale. If you go to a car dealership, they ask you, and you have to show proof of insurance, that you have insurance on the car, on whatever car you had before.
Yeah.
So that when you drive off that lot, you have insurance because you have to be insured, and the vehicle has to be insured.
Well, to kind of counterpoint through cliches, cars are a privilege and guns are a right.
Quote unquote. Yeah, but it's still the whole point that, so by our Constitution, so is our free speech. Yet it is regulated as well. There are certain things that we can't do because we've determined that it is not.
Just taking in free speech, it's like, just watching Hitchcock, like him having to deal with the censors and how they were like going, do you really have to show a toilet in the movie? How much what we consider speech has changed.
Well, it's not even that. Like people forget, like you can't yell fire in a building.
Yeah.
And I don't even think you're allowed to yell fire in a building that's on fire. Like I think if people die from being trampled because you yelled fire in a building, you could be liable. Because you created a panic. And so there are things that you cannot say, you cannot yell and then say, well, freedom of speech. No, you can't do that. You just it's not allowed. We've determined that is not protected under free speech. Another one I saw on Facebook from a friend was about was it Ted Kaczynski? Ted
Kaczynski?
Yes, however you pronounce him. And how he's the one that bombed the building, right?
The Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
What was the name of the Unabomber again? I always get these two guys confused.
Well, it's one of them.
It's one of those. Ted Kaczynski or Unabomber.
Yeah, one of them, unless they're the same person. Look it up while I talk about it. So I saw like that they rattled off how many people he killed, how many kids he killed, because one of them there was a daycare in there.
Ted Kaczynski was the Unabomber.
Then I got this right last time.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, no, I think that was the Unabomber, and then you were right.
The other guy. And they talk about like how, like, he got fertilizer. He rented a truck. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what the difference is all the things that he had individually are not only Timothy McVeigh. He not only individually were the things that he used. Most of the stuff he used are used to create things that we need, necessities like food, like the fertilizer and the other stuff that he got. But there's tons of stuff that can be combined to make explosives. And it's like, they go like, well, you can turn that into explosives. So does that mean we need to outlaw that? And I'm like, no, because you have to add those things, and you have to have a distinct purpose to blow shit up to do that. With a gun, all you have to do is pull a trigger. It's way fucking easier. Way fucking easier to pull a trigger on a gun than it is to build a bomb in the back of a truck.
Mm-hmm.
And someone could say to me, is like, well, it's way easier. It actually is much easier than you think. Still the whole point of like, you have to load that truck up. You have to put it in. You have to get the right mixture of everything. Mm-hmm. Like
plus the goals behind these two types of crazy people is very different.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's my whole point. My biggest point about it is that you can't compare those two things. You can't compare cars and guns,
mm-hmm.
and say like and go like, well, should we outlaw guns? Should we outlaw cars because they kill? And I'm like, we use them for transportation. There is no other use for a gun than killing. Mm-hmm. Whether it is to hunt an animal or not, it is used for killing. There is no other use for it. That was what it was made for. And I like shooting guns. I don't want them to go away. Like, I know Australia has some really harsh gun laws, and I don't agree with that, and I don't think that's the way it should be. But this idea that we can't talk about it to make our not even, I'm not even saying streets. I'm saying making tragedies less occur less often. And you can also talk about mental health in the United States, and I completely agree with that. Like, we need to reevaluate how we're taking care of our mentally ill, because the majority of these times that they are mentally ill. But still, it's the whole point is like, why was the guy in Aurora, Colorado able to get what he got? Mm-hmm. What do you need a 100-round clip for? There is no need for a 100-round clip. There isn't. You should not, unless you are heavily regulated by the government. You shouldn't need a 100-round clip. You're not going into the woods shooting off 100 rounds into a deer.
Yeah,
not happening. It's like it makes no sense. Why is that? Why and granted, there are red flags when you buy ammo and a lot of this kind of stuff. But from what I understand, like with the guy in Aurora, Colorado, he actually bought them from different places, so it didn't necessarily pop up. But it's still the whole one. It's like, why was it even available? Why was it needed? And for some reason, I really think Hollywood has made guns romantic.
Yeah.
To the point of where now we go like, no, I want to shoot an M16. I want one because it's cool to shoot.
I don't know.
And I do want to shoot an M16, but it needs to be in the proper place, in my opinion. Like, it needs to be done right, because the average person does not need an M16. Actually, I don't think anyone needs an M16.
Yeah, nobody needs an M16.
Except for the military, and I get that. And you can fight all day long about like, well, we needed to protect ourselves from the government, and I'll look at you and go like, let me know how you do with. No, I'm just saying is like that's what some people will say.
Yeah, I know, but like when you say you, and I'm the only person in the room.
I didn't say that, but it's serious. There are people who think that we need it to protect ourselves from the government, and I go like, how are you going to protect yourself with 3 M16s?
Yeah.
How are you going to protect yourself against a platoon of trained soldiers that kill?
Yeah.
I'm like, really? What you should be doing is learning how to hack. Like, nowadays, honestly, no joke.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
that's
if
a much better gun.
Oh yeah, if you want to really fight against the government in case it does anything and starts oppressing us, learn how to hack and code and computers. You will do immense more harm that way to our government than you ever would with a gun now. It's just the way it is. They're too powerful, too big. So what you got to do? Got to go small. All right, that's my thing. Yeah. We need to be able to talk about gun control without people getting up in arms and going like, "You're fucking taking my shit away." It's America.
America. Fuck yeah.
You had one, Joe.
Okay. Yeah. So, me slightly different from Goldie's, although there might be some overlap. The thing about me and like the recent violence and stuff like that is a general reaction that you tend to get from the media and people and stuff like that, where people are saying like, "Oh, I've got the answer. We've got to stop this now. We need to outlaw video games or guns and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, and outlawing guns that's the wrong answer.
Yeah,
we need to talk.
Even regulation and stuff like that to a certain degree.
No.
I mean, now to me, I'm not I'm not against any of this per se.
Well, I just want to say, keep in mind with the latest one with Sandy Hook. Sandy Hook, right? Yeah, Sandy Hook. With Sandy Hook, I mean, all the guns were legally obtained.
Yeah.
And the motherfucker was crazy. Yeah. Obviously.
I mean,
and you can't stop
we've
that.
Said several times, you can't stop crazy.
No, you can't.
Now, what you can do is you can work to lower the probability that crazy will happen.
Yeah. And I also want to say that because with mine I brought up with assault rifles, and as far as I know, when he went into the school, he didn't use any assault rifles. So that's why I feel that mine doesn't really have to do with it. It's been brought up again with Sandy Hook, but not about Sandy Hook because I feel like that's an outlier slightly. Well, comparatively, because I think he usually used handguns. I mean,
at the end of the day, all of these incidents are outliers.
True.
Most measures of violence in our society are showing that violence has been on a decline, and these are the incidents where it's still happening. At least that's my opinion. But the problem I have is that people will say oh, well, here's the problem in our society. This is what we need to fix. And there's a difference between a solution and a strategy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people propose strategy as if it was solution. The idea that we need to outlaw guns, that's not a solution. That's a strategy. And it might work. I don't know.
I doubt it. Well, no, it would. It would work for those type of mental situations. It definitely would work.
And even but
at what cost? That's what you have to ask yourself.
Well, yeah. Well, even making guns even more free to use could also have a positive effect. I mean, one meme that I saw passing around referenced that in Switzerland, adult males over the age of 20 or something like that are all issued a gun. And
but is that true?
It is. I looked it up. Okay. Snopes. And Switzerland has the lowest accident rate with guns, and the crime rate with guns is so low they don't even keep statistics on it. I might have the two mixed. But here's the problem with that. I mean, you can cite that as a reason to be more free with guns in this country, but we have to remember that we're not Switzerland. Switzerland has a culture that believes in neutrality. We're not that. We are not that. And so the best that Switzerland can show us is that it's possible to have a society with free guns and stuff like that. But that you're confusing causation with correlation there at that point. If you think that that giving people guns is going to make a safer society, it could just as likely have the opposite effect. And the same thing with better mental illness awareness and stuff like that. It could have positive effects and negative effects.
I don't really. What negative effect would it potentially have?
I'm just what I'm trying to say here is that we need to realize that we're not coming up with solutions. We're coming up with strategies, and strategies are fine. I hope that's making some sort of sense.
Well, but I mean, the one thing I would say to you about that is that, I mean, what I think you're more saying is that we need to look at the problem and see, and see what our options are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's two aspects I think that I'm trying to say here, and one is that, and the other is
which I guess is a strategy.
Yeah, and the other is I guess I'm trying to touch on the whole kind of divisive nature that we tend to have about like I'm right, you're wrong, and stuff like that, and and I don't know. I just get tired of hearing people saying that they have the answer to what our problems are, and
you want to know what one of my favorite ones is?
What?
That I see every so often. Every so often, I'll see the one they're like, this city has open carry and concealed weapons where everyone can do it, and their crime rate is next to nil.
Yeah.
Completely ignoring the fact that there's another city that they did the same thing, and the crime rates rose. Like,
oh, and that gets into another thing that I'd like to say, and that's my idea of the better strategy. Which, I mean, I don't want to take off any of the other ideas off the table. We do need to talk about gun control. We do need to talk about how to deal with mental illness. But I think that what really needs to be a priority is to changing the way our culture deals with these things. And I'm mainly talking about the 24-hour news cycle that milks these tragedies to death.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend, Mark, who told us about one that someone posted on Facebook about that someone, and this is now third hand. Well, no, second hand, because he actually read the article.
Yeah.
But he knew someone that posted on Facebook about how some guy trying to emulate the Aurora, Colorado incident was shot and killed because someone who was carrying a weapon in the theater shot and killed him before he could shoot anyone else. Mm-hmm. And then you read the article and you find out that it had nothing to do with that. Like he was trying to scare his girlfriend and he didn't even go into the movie theater. And one of the cops, he had brandished the weapon to a couple places, and the cops
it had absolutely no resemblance to Aurora, Colorado. It was a completely outside occurrence that just happened to end at a movie theater.
Yeah, and then more than that is he didn't even get shot and killed because the guy was an off-duty police officer that at night did night watch stuff for the movie theater or whatever, and they shot him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's like this is exactly, and I guess what he was saying is that the news article had a picture of Dark Knight with the Hobbit in the corner and Dark Knight all shot up and stuff, and it's like the news is doing this as well.
I mean,
they're misrepresenting.
I mean, there's this, and I forget what it's called exactly, but it's a heuristic, and heuristics are sort of like mental shortcuts that our brains automatically do to speed up certain processes. And there's this heuristic that we have that that when we become aware of something, our perception of the probability of how likely it's going to happen increases because we heard about it. So this is things like Shark Week. As soon as the news starts talking about sharks, everybody starts thinking that we are under shark attacks, even though sharks attacks are very rare. But to get back to what you were saying, I agree with you. I think there is a major issue that we're having where everyone thinks that they have the solution, and it's either with this latest incident, it's giving if all the faculty had guns. Yeah.
Which I go you want to put guns in school, in an elementary school with 7-year-olds? That's gonna be safe. Or the other opposite, which is we need to take away all guns. And it's neither of these are the proper solutions. They're both over exaggerations, and what we really need to do is assess the situation properly. Find out all this stuff, which is why I didn't bring mine. I didn't correlate mine with Sandy Hook because I felt that it wasn't proper. All the guns were obtained legally, and as far as I know, from what I could tell, he didn't use any assault rifles, which is one of my issues. Which which I know that the guy in Aurora, Colorado used an assault type like rifle. It was at least a semi-auto, So I agree with you, Joe, quite a bit. We as a people, as Americans.
Yeah, I mean, like you see the news bash like video games and movies and stuff like that, and you never see the news saying like, "Oh, we are also part of this problem."
Yeah.
I mean, movies and video games, they could be part of the problem. I don't know. I mean, my everything that I've read and my gut instinct tells me probably not.
Here's the only thing that I honestly think movies more than anything else has helped in this problem with guns, which is that I honestly believe they have romanticized weapons. To at least the American public.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because Canada gets the same movies we do.
Yeah, no. That's why I'm saying American public.
Yeah.
I didn't say Canadians or humanity in general.
I mean,
but Americans.
I think that there's definitely sort of like what's that term with when two waves meet each other, like amplification sort of thing, or a harmony that goes on. In certain aspects in American culture clashing with certain other things leads to, I don't know.
Yeah, it just, that's why I say, like, I could see how violent movies, with like I said, we see all these really badasses with guns.
Yeah.
And
but more often than not, here's
the American gangster is the one that started the whole sideways shooting thing because they thought it looked cool. No one else no real gangsters would ever shoot that way. But
unless they saw it in a movie.
But I mean, they did that on purpose, because it looked cool. You know how many criminals we have that don't shoot properly because they saw something in the movies and think it looks cool.
Yeah,
like anyone.
Maybe that's why they put it in the
maybe
movies.
That's the reason why
they figured, hey, maybe everybody will start shooting this way and there'll be horrible shots.
And there'll be so horrible shots that no one actually will ever be killed. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, I think you can, and I love the Mythbusters, but I think you can show the Mythbusters as another thing of how Americans love explosions.
Yeah.
We are enamored by it, and we wonder why like we have kids who blow shit up. It's like, do you not see like how much fun we find explosions? And I find explosions shit tons of fun.
I mean,
I love them. They're awesome.
I think
properly, safely.
I think another thing to really needs to be reiterated is that this is not a common thing. Talking about with these tragedies. Yeah,
absolutely.
And I don't mean to like downplay the tragedy of it either, but I don't know what I want to say.
It's the question is that's why I say when I kind of agree with you where we can't be throwing out solutions. We need to find a strategy, right? That's what basically we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, we also need to understand that what we have been doing is throwing out strategies, but we treat them like solutions. And when we treat them like solutions, we fortify ourselves.
Well, and what I'm saying is we need to take a step forward than just strategizing, but actually analyzing why it happened to get.
Yeah,
I mean
that's another reason to view it more like a strategy is because when you're viewing it as a strategy, then you're setting yourself up to look at it from a much more of a cost-benefit analysis. Whereas when you have it as a solution, well, it's the solution. So who the fuck cares what the downside is? I mean, you paint yourself into a corner when you put yourself that way.
And I'm going to bring up one thing real quick on this, which is the thing from Michael Moore that I told you about, the tweet from Michael Moore, and mainly because I want to bring it up because this is one more thing. This is again one of the having to do with you say with solutions where you they say like, well, if only the if only, if only we had.
Everybody treats this as if there was one variable off here.
Yeah. It's like like I'll hear well, if only there was a gun owner who was carrying a weapon at the time, he could have stopped this.
Yeah.
Like that's the solution. If everyone would have had a gun, this wouldn't have happened. To which Michael
Maybe.
Moore, who I dislike, keep in mind I dislike Michael Moore for the most part. I think he's a douche. If only the first victim, Adam Lanza's mother, had been a gun owner, she could have stopped this before it started. Now, if those of you don't know about Sandy Hook, I believe the first person killed was his mother. His mother.
Yeah, and it was like a couple days before too.
Was it? Oh, that I didn't know. Was his mother, who was a gun owner, and the guns came from his mother.
Yeah.
He did not get any guns illegally. They were hers legally, and he shot her. So that, like, to me, like, instantly right there is like, this is why that solution doesn't work always. Because I used to say it as well. Mm-hmm. Like, because I heard stories about how someone would go crazy in a parking lot, and it'd be like in some place where they would have gun racks, and so the person would go all crazy, and like start to like hit his wife or something like that, and next thing you know, he had fucking 4 rifles pointed at his face. Mm-hmm. That solved it.
Yeah.
That solved that issue.
Yeah.
But that's not always the solution, because it turns out that the gun owner can be shot by his own guns as well. And I don't know the statistic on that, but I do believe that's actually decently high, like of how many gun owners get shot by their own guns, mm-hmm. by someone who found them because they don't properly have them locked up. So like someone will break in, they'll find the gun because it's not in a gun safe. They'll take it, and then if they come home, they get shot by their own gun. But it's just you're absolutely right, Joe. We need to be looking at solutions, and not. Not solutions. We need to be looking at strategies, ways of dealing with these problems properly, not just throwing out these solutions of going, well, if this one thing.
Yeah, and I think that people need to realize that other people's positions could work. But
sometimes they do. In Aurora, Colorado, if someone in the movie theater had a gun, he would have stopped a lot.
Yeah.
We would have
shot. That guy got shot first.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, then you have to understand that we're now okay with guns in the movie theaters, because I'm not.
No. Yeah.
Oh, did I ever tell you the story? Oh, story time. Chris Goldie story time. Did I ever tell you? Did I ever tell you about Fresh and Easy and the guy when we talking about weapons?
No.
Okay, so I'd never done this before. We were talking about guns at the store that I worked at, and I was telling about how, like, man, yeah, I'd love to like be able to conceal carry, just because it'd be, but it'd be crazy because, like, you'd have a weapon on you, like not all the time, but you'd have a weapon on you. And he was like, oh yeah, it's not that hard to get a concealed weapons license. I'm like, really? Because I've heard it's really hard. I was like, no, it was really easy. I just told him this, and this, and I didn't have any background, and and I guess with a concealed weapons permit in California, like, you have to pass quite a few tests, and it's not hard, but you just have to do it. Mm-hmm. And you can only have like 3 weapons, and those weapons are registered, and so look, those are only ones. So it's not like you can carry any weapons. Like, if you have a Beretta, that's one of your concealed weapon guns. Like, that's it. And that's so if you have something else, if you some other handgun, and you get caught with it, and you go like, I have a concealed weapons permit, and they go like, that's for a Beretta, motherfucker. You have a Desert Eagle, like, you still get in huge trouble, right?
Right.
So I'm talking to this guy, and I'm going like, wow, that's really cool. He's like, yeah, I got one. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, like it's got to feel weird, right, to like be wearing it sometimes. He's like, what do you mean? I always have it on. And that's when it hit me. The motherfucker had a gun on him right at that moment.
Tell me this story.
He had a gun on him, Joe.
Yeah.
And I instantly went, oh fuck, what if it fell and went off randomly? Now I know, guns don't actually really do that. But I just was like, what if he went crazy? Yeah. And the only motherfucker in the store that is carrying a gun is the one that's only allowed to carry a gun. I'm like, and he was totally cool with it. And he was like, yeah, it makes me feel bigger. I was like, what the I was like, I literally squirmed as he like was looking at me. And as I realized, he could shoot me right now if he wanted to. Yeah. Now, he would get in a lot of trouble, obviously. But I just was like, wow. And I didn't even realize where it was. I'm going like, holy fuck. He showed me it, Joe. He showed me his concealed weapons permit.
Yeah.
And showed me the 2 weapons. And then I went like, is he always carrying 2 weapons? And they're loaded. It's a concealed weapons permit, it means that they can be loaded. I'm like, he's in Yucaipa.
Yeah.
What is going on in Yucaipa that you need a gun?
Yeah, I know.
It jeeved me out so bad. Jeeved?
Sure. Why
not? Whatever. It really creeped me out.
Yeah.
To no end, to the point of where I realized right then that I probably actually don't want a concealed weapons permit.
Yeah.
It solved it right there. I was like, wow.
I mean,
and Joe, he didn't have any reason for it. It wasn't like he was carrying lots of money or anything like that. Because we talked about that. Like I know that some lawyers and people who have businesses in bad neighborhoods can get concealed weapon permits. And I'm okay with that. Like he didn't have any of that. Because I was like, yeah, don't you have to like do this and this and this? And he's like, no. He's like, I just have it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good times.
I mean, I like personally, I would love to see guns like outlawed, and not necessarily because,
that's Joe Rossi.
No, I mean not
Chris.
And no, I would love to see him outlawed, and it has nothing to do with the fact of like because I think that it would make a better society. It's just that I would think that I would like them not to be needed in our society anymore.
Oh, okay, all right.
So I mean, I guess at that point they wouldn't need to be outlawed, but as if they were outlawed.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that is the ultimate goal that we should be striving for: is a world that didn't need guns.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
But at the same time, I don't think that we can just do that.
No, of course we can't. I mean, because the problem is that it is true that the bad people will still get guns.
Yeah,
that is truth.
Yeah.
The people who want guns will still get guns. And it's just like with piracy. The people who don't want to pay for movies or music or software will still find a way around these any kind of stuff that you put in their way, and all you're doing is fucking over the actual person that paid for your product. So like just straight out outlawing guns isn't wrong. It's to me like remembering that story reminded me and how for so long I wanted a concealed weapons permit because I thought it would be cool, and then met someone who had a concealed weapons permit who didn't need one.
Yeah. And
I realized how crazy I was to think that I wanted one. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like I'd met people who needed one. Like I met a private detective who he said it was really hard for him to get, but he's a private detective. I get that. Like, you might get in some bad situations as a private detective. Or as a lawyer going into the ghetto,
right.
for your client or something like that. I get that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But when you don't need one and you have one, I just look at you and go like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah, you're trying to live a fantasy world.
Exactly. Like you want to walk in and be the hero. Yeah, exactly. Play a motherfucking video game. You know what? Go play Hitman.
Yeah.
And kill people that way. In not in the real world, but crazy. I think we're done.
Yeah, that sounds like
we went on for 30 minutes with that.
It'd be nice to end it on some sort of joke of some sort.
Yeah. All right, so
serious.
Yeah, we did get serious. I swear, if there's no tragedies next week, we'll be funny again. No promises.
Well, actually,
guarantees not
we
guaranteed.
won't be. Well,
oh, that's right.
I don't know how things will work out on the uploading of stuff, but today is the week before Christmas, so next week we will not be recording.
No, because it's the day after Christmas.
Yeah, or 2 days after Christmas.
No, Christmas is on Tuesday.
I thought Christmas was on a Monday.
Nope, Christmas is on Tuesday. $5. $5.
You're right.
Damn it! Didn't do it fast enough. Fuck.
Christmas Eve is on a Monday.
It is. It is. All right. So and then because of that, we also New Year's Day is on Tuesday, which might be a problem. So it might be 2 weeks. I'm sure there will still be new episodes, but there might be a couple weeks before there's a new one. Anyway, we will have a guest for next episode
because we'll contact somebody well in advance.
It might be someone semi-famous. It might be.
It might be me. I might be famous by then.
Joe might be famous. I might be semi-famous. Or it might be Brandon. It might be Brandon.
It might be Brandon. What about
Maybe.
Kyle?
Oh, my God, Kyle. Well, as you said so eloquently, one does not simply get Kyle. Yeah.
I was thinking that with the that one Lord of the Rings meme. With
Yeah, one does simply
walk into Mordor.
Well, that's because Kyle has to have his own camera.
Yeah,
he must have his own camera.
We'll figure out a third camera situation.
All right, so till then, we're out. Right, that's it. That's how
we're out. I guess
we're out. We're out. I think. Bing. All right.
I hope that's not copyright.